Here we go. Okay. What do I want to talk about? I've really been wanting to do videos. Pretty much since my last one, I've been wanting. I have these ideas, these grand ideas, but I don't have the energy for those ideas. So, I just kind of wanted to talk out some of my thoughts and see if it'll help to kind of get them out of my head. I have a very high bun, yes. This is very because I'm keeping it real. Clueless. Leave a thumbs up if you've seen Clueless 100 times, which is probably a low estimation of how many times I've seen that movie, but I need to do a separate video on just how iconic the fashion is in Clueless, because the costume design is just groundbreaking, I would say. I'm trying to get my shirt in this shop because I really like it, but where to start? Okay, so it's still winter. I still think that I very much have a vitamin D deficiency. And so I haven't had the drive to film anything or talk to my phone like a silly goose, like I am right now. And yeah, I miss talking about clothes and stuff. So these lights are kind of anyway. Okay, so I've been going through a tough time. And I mean, I'm just laughing because if you're not going through a tough time right now, I commend you, and I don't know how that could possibly be with everything that's going on in the world. But it's always whenever I hear someone say they've never experienced depression in their life, I'm just in awe of them. Someone else said that the other day, and I was like, yeah, I cannot fathom. That's awesome. Way to go. But hard times are probably going to come because that's life, there's ups and downs and all the things. And just you don't want to be happy-go-lucky all the time, because then it becomes toxic positivity and oh, just change your mindset and everything else will get better, which it doesn't work that way. Anyone that's had any sort of mental health bumps in their road knows that you can't just be oh, I'm gonna decide to be happy. But some people just haven't experienced the low lows. So I don't want to get too into it, because for those that haven't experienced them, it kind of makes them uncomfortable. Not even going into detail, but just saying hey, I'm really depressed, will get them uncomfortable. So I'm just going through it, and the reason I'm talking about it is because okay, I'm actually going to go into a little bit of a story time right now. When I first started my reselling or Poshmark geared whatever, I was doing an Instagram account that was just for making Poshmark friends and whatever. But it didn't really go very far because I was so in my head and critical and self-conscious of what I was posting and what if it was interesting enough, or if the picture was nice enough, or I just constantly comparing myself to others, which I'm sure everyone can relate to in some way. But the first post that I wanted to make was, I need to fix my posture. This is why my back hurts partially. the first post that I wanted to make was, it was like an introduction post, like a lot of people do, and I, for an introvert, if I'm talking about something that I'm interested in like mental health and personal development and clothing, vintage clothing, secondhand clothing, thrifting, all that stuff, movies. Okay, I'm gonna stop. I can talk about it forever. So I had this really long caption with my introduction that kind of didn't go into detail, but was just like, I've had several odd jobs throughout the years, and having depression and anxiety, it's hard to like keep a steady job when you like don't feel like getting out of bed some days. And I think I've already said that in a video, which is like before I was so afraid to say that, but like I don't think it's that uncommon, and I think that people should talk about it more, and it shouldn't become like this big gray cloud and like turn the whole room into like Bummersville, because like that's how we connect, Ever heard of Brene Brown and The Power of Vulnerability, right? Like those are my favorite kinds of books and talks, and so I'm not a professional, I'm not a psychologist, I'm not a counselor, I'm not anything like that. I've just had a lot of my own struggles, and have been seeing many different therapists for many different years, and I just kind of want to talk about my own personal stuff, and I've been afraid to bring it up, but at the same time it's like, this is the reason why I wanted to create an account for this and like talk to like-minded people about style and secondhand clothing and stuff like that, but also about like the real important stuff, like the stuff that makes your brain do things that you don't understand, and that's the stuff that usually makes you feel really alone. And so just hearing other people experiencing similar things can make you feel slightly less alone. And I know that when I've watched videos in the past that have talked about things like this, it has helped me and just made me feel less alone, made me feel a little comfort, even though like there's comfort in the sadness, shared sadness. I don't know. I'm doing okay. Like, this isn't a cry for help or anything. I feel like I'm on the up, whatever. I can't think of metaphors right now, but I started a new medication, and it, for anyone that has ever taken a medication for their mental health, it can be really difficult to get used to it, and I'm still very much in the beginning process, and so yeah, that's where I'm at. But that is not really what I wanted to talk about. What I was talking about was and going back to my Instagram post, I talked about depression and anxiety and things, and my partner, who is like so supportive and believes in therapy and all the things, like believes in the importance of mental health and wellness, he kind of just brought up concerns of like, this is kind of a business in a way, like you're presenting yourself as like your business, you're the face of whatever this is going to be, and do you want to talk about depression and anxiety and all that stuff like in your first post? And it made me think like, oh, I don't know, because some people take it differently. Some people are like, oh, she said the word depression, like it's a bad word, and like I used to think it was a bad word too when I was like a teenager and in my 20s, early 20s, but it's not a bad word, it's just a word that means something, like most things. And yeah, I just think that people that are in a really like low point, they just want to connect, and even when I'm at a mid-regular point, I want to connect. And I never ended up posting. I think I took out the depression and anxiety stuff from my first post because I worried that people would think that I was being negative and just like not want to follow me for that reason. But it's not like that's all I talk about. And one thing that really, I need to take some water. One thing that kind of made me see things a little bit differently was if you're in the reseller community, I'm sure you know Mogi Beth. Everyone knows her. She's like an icon in the reselling community. But she's a very kind person. She's very sweet. I've never met her in person, but she talked about her mental health struggles when she had like a lot of followers, and she was very open about it, and it just made me feel seen or whatever, you know. I don't want to cry right now, guys. I cry a lot, but I'm like trying to learn how to control the waterworks a little bit. Crying is good. You got to get it out, but I'm not going to cry in front of... Okay. Yeah, she just like talked very openly about like being in like a really deep, dark place on her Instagram or YouTube or something. And I was very surprised and like, wow, that's so cool that like someone who seems so like put together and like they know they have all the answers. No one has all the answers. I know that now, but like someone that's like so just like, she's just, I don't even know. She's just so confident, and she just puts out this like very, I don't know. I love you, Mogi. If you ever see this, I adore you. And you really helped me during that time. And I'm still going through it, but like you, like the things that you did when I was struggling and like reaching out, it was more impactful than like 80% of the therapists that I've seen. So thank you. I'm actually happy right now. I'm just like very in tune with my emotions, and don't ask me if I'm pregnant because I don't ever want to have kids and I don't ever plan on having kids. And I don't want to say triggered, but like before I gained a ton of weight, everyone kept asking me when my due date was. Like all my customers at JCPenney would be like, when are you due? And I was like, maybe 180 pounds, 170, something like that. You know, 5'7". I had a tummy. I have a tummy. We have tummies. Everyone has tummies. And it's just really rude to just be like, you have a tummy. When are you due? I cannot tell you the amount of people that said that to me when I was working. Anyway, I'm just emotional, and it has nothing to do, it maybe has something to do with hormones, but not in that way. But awesome. Parents are cool. I just don't want kids of my own, that's all. I'm not like taking a stance or anything like that. So, I need to get back on track. What is happening? Yeah, I've wanted to do a YouTube for pretty much since like a few years ago when Mogi was very open about her mental health. And, but when you're in a low point, it's like you don't even want to reach out to like your closest friend or family member because you're like, I am a bother, you know, whatever, your dark cloud, whatever it is. So you don't really want to do anything, and then you feel bad for not doing anything, and then you're like, I should be doing something because then it would maybe make me feel better, but I don't feel good enough at all to do anything. And it also goes along with like chronic body pain, and if anyone has experienced that, maybe you haven't experienced mental health pain, but you've experienced chronic back pain or whatever kind of chronic pain, if it's in your head or in your body, like it can be very debilitating. And it just prevented me from doing a lot of things for a long time. And so the reason why I wanted to create these accounts, aside from showing my love of clothing and connecting with people that also love thrifting and garage sailing and, you know, have been going since they were like a baby, like I was, I want to help people feel less alone in the way that people helped me. So, I feel like I had other stuff to talk about, but that just kind of went on a whole thing. So, I do have a ton of ideas. I'm actually going to be kind of changing my scenery pretty soon here. So, I'm thinking that'll kind of help with inspiration and, you know, just different energy. And yeah, it's not often that I'm like, I want to get these thoughts. I mean, I always want to get thoughts out of my head, but usually they're just like so many thoughts that like my hand starts hurting if I'm writing them down, and I'm just like, oh, I can't do it, no more. And then they just kind of stay swirling around in there. That's why I like haven't journaled in years. But I just was in a mood to get this out and see if someone else felt the same way. And I'm going to be on here more often, but I want to be real. That's why my videos are the way they are right now. They're not polished or edited. Like, I don't want to put on a mask or a facade or any, like, I'm not saying anyone that edits their videos is doing that. I'm just saying, like, I have very little energy for this kind of stuff. So if I put editing into it along with, you know, all the other, like, the filming and the lighting, I have to get the lights up because it's dark. And anyway, this is what I have energy for right now. So if you're here for the ride, thank you. I appreciate it. I know it's mostly just a couple of my siblings and some friends watching me right now. But yeah, I just want to kind of build a community of people that are very caring and can reach out to each other when they need it, and who also like clothes and cool horror movies. Scream is coming out today, you guys. The new Scream movie is coming out. Okay, anyway. I've never seen a Scream movie in theaters. I was so salty about the fourth one because I was like, it was a perfect trilogy, that I didn't see it for like years until. But I love Scream 4. Anyway, for you horror fans out there, you 90s kids, that's it. That just kind of went full circle, didn't it? And always remember, if you liked this, and you could subscribe or not. I feel weird throwing that in, but I forget about it. So, and yeah, if you've watched these and you haven't subscribed, I've been like hovering just under 60 for like a month now. I was at 40 for 3 months, and then it was like, oh, I made it to 60, and then I looked the next day and it was like 57, and I just can't get to that 60 mark. It's all right. It's just numbers, but, you know, it would be kind of like a little, yeah, I did it, 60. Anyway, I'm rambling, and, yeah, thanks for listening. And remember to be kind, rewind. Oh.